Hey everybody, it's Nick and Jay, and we are back from New Hampshire Motor Speedway and the annual Halloween Hooptiefest.
You clearly did not get the memo about the costumes.
Yeah, I got the email. I'm not really, I'm not a costume guy.
That's great.
But terrible at this race. Camero. These guys apparently were unable to figure out the science of installing a muffler on this vehicle. And by the end, they just stopped running entirely and wound up being pushed in by a dead Peugeot 405, which in turn was being pushed by a live Peugeot 405. Incredibly but terrible.
Hella sweet, on the other hand. All kinds of hella sweet stuff. Food bribes in New Hampshire are always fantastic. This time we had lobster rolls, pulled pork, mac and cheese, a great Italian deli selection. It was just fantastic. We had Kim Harmon's birthday. That was great. She had the greatest Star Wars birthday cake you have ever seen in your life. And we had a good Monty Python theme. And we had the Tootsie Pop penalty. How many licks does it take? It's like 1,500, it turns out. Now, we also had the first overall win tie. Does not happen in LeMons or anywhere else in racing. Here was the deal. Keystone Cops, they got this really fast V8 Volvo. They were chasing Barf Racing in their Honda. The Honda had one more lap than Keystone Cops, but then they couldn't get over the finish line because their wheel flew off. And then the Keystone Cops came, and then we got to time, and then they threw the thing so they had the same number of laps, but the Honda had gone more distance. What do? Now, normally in car racing, it's whoever's still running on the last lap. That is who wins at Le Mans. However, here the two teams, they said, hey, we love each other. We're just going to call that a tie. So we got a tie.
Now, heroic fix at this race was really a relatively heroic fix because it went to Team Sputnik, our friend Sasha, the Russian, who always brings interesting / terrible vehicles. This time it was a Nissan Quest minivan. I don't even know what went wrong with it, but
he had a minor crash and he had to replace the windshield.
Yeah, and so during the course of doing that, somehow he takes the Sawzall and cuts the entire top off of the car, thereby making it totally sketchy in terms of safety and structural integrity. And I don't know, windshield the most time in Russia, windshield crack and you cut the roof off with a power saw. So that was heroic, I guess.
The I Got Screwed trophy, this was the Cougar Hunters, and basically it is the least reliable car ever made. It blew up again. They're totally screwed.
3, 2. Good evening. Do not attempt to adjust your video. There is nothing wrong. We have taken control here at the headquarters of the Judge Phil lifestyle brand because Nick and Jay forgot to tell the story of a very important event that took place at the Halloween Hooptiefest. Swedish Mafia Racing. They race a squishy suspension Volvo 245 wagon. New Hampshire Motor Speedway saw fit to honor the Granite State by placing a couple of giant-ass boulders right where you're going to slide into them if you lose it here, and that's exactly what happened to the Swedish Mafia Volvo. Plowed into the boulder, driver was fine, car was very not fine. A Volvo 245 wagon came putting through the paddock. Spectator had showed up to watch the race, and just for the heck of it, these guys ran over and said, hey, here's $400 for your car. We want to make it into a race car. And the guy said, sure. And not only that, he threw in the sheet cake that came in the back.
Judge's choice went to the Lemontarians in a Chevy Citation X11. Now that car, along with the Renault Fuego, is one of those cars that is just really in the LeMons Hall of Fame of stuff that we like to see, but rarely get the chance to. Now, this was maybe the second one we've ever seen in LeMons, and this was like a pristine example. And not only that, it was an exact replica of the team captain who got married in a Citation X11. Are they still together?
Yeah, amazingly.
I don't even see how that's possible. Judge's choice.
The one-off trophy at this race was the least convincing movie car trophy. Now this thing, these guys, they wanted to make the last of the V8 Interceptors, from Mad Max. Okay, well, we've seen that a bunch of times before. These guys, they wanted super authenticity, so they made it right-hand drive. This is a Fox body Mustang. Right-hand drive, they got a Ford Granada steering box shipped from the UK. They put a 280Z engine into it. I have no idea why. And that was their thing. However, they did nothing else to make it look like a V8 Interceptor. So really, it's a right-hand drive, Datsun-powered, inexplicable Fox body Mustang. They did eat out a dog food can, so that was good.
Org choice really requires a little bit of background. I hate the Volkswagen Vanagon. I think it's the worst vehicle ever made. Now, these guys figured out a way to make it the coolest car we've ever seen. And it was a Volkswagen Vanagon mounted onto a Toyota MR2 chassis. Center drive, cut down, full-on TC island hoppers from Magnum PI theme. Just one of the best things we've ever seen.
Totally sweet. And that just brings up the IOE. This was Futility Motorsports and their awesome Dodge Daytona. Now, they have blown up about 700 engines. This is a great kid, runs this team. He was in college when he started. He's run a dozen races or more. Every time, spectacular explosions. This time, ran like a glove, man.
I was watching a live stream of this thing on the internet, and it was so slow.
So slow.
But it ran. All right, that's it for New Hampshire. Here's LeMons in a nutshell.
Yes, might have gotten away with it too. If it wasn't for these blasted kids and their dog.
And I'd have done it too, if you kids hadn't have come along. And I'd have found it if it wasn't for you snoopers.
But first, let's watch some video from the Muralia Radiac lifestyle brand.